All right, hey, it's Greg Stanley with the Collector Car Podcast. Got a couple things here I need to cover with you. First of all, before we get into another artist interview, but try to stay until the very end because if you're watching on YouTube, I actually threw in a couple videos or one video of my parents' 1969 Mustang Mach 1 from 1969 going down a muddy dirt road with a trailer hitch on it. Found footage. And a picture of it from the day that it was bought back in 1969, which is actually right behind me on the wall here as well. But anyways, nice up-close picture where you can see the dealer tag in the back window there. As far as travels, I've been on the road a lot. As I'm recording this, I'm leaving tomorrow for McCacken Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals up in Chicago. So if you find yourself there, please let me know. Shoot me a note, Greg, at the Collector Car Podcast. Love to meet you in person. And something I never do, but I really do want to ask your information. I want information from you, I guess. A couple things. I would love for you to please let me know what you want me to talk about. I do have a ton of stuff I want to talk about and explore on this podcast, which is why I'm almost up to 400. Basically, if I have a question about car stuff and I don't know the answer, I'm like, well, why don't I make a podcast about it? Or if there's someone I find interesting or, I love original owner stories. So I have plenty of content, but I feel like I'm ignoring you, my listeners, my viewers. So if you have something you would like for me to cover, please just throw a comment in the podcast episode YouTube channel, and I will do my best to do it soon. Or shoot me again a note, Greg, at thecollectorcarpodcast.com, as well as if you would like to be on my newsletter, which does go out pretty much every Monday, of my travels and adventures. Last week, I was looking at an unrestored AC Cobra, trying to get it in preservation class for Monterey. It seems like it might be a slam dunk because it's such a special car. And I was also up in Canada at RM Sotheby's Christmas party, so I had a couple of fun pictures from that. And then obviously, for next week's recap, I'll have some cool pictures of some of my favorite cars from McCacken. So, appreciate all the support. And I usually don't ask for things, but would love for you to post a review, try to give a little more visibility to the channel, and then obviously let me know what you want me to talk about. So let's listen to a couple of my sponsors here. Nothing would happen without my sponsors, so please support them. And then we'll get to the interview. Imagine a journey so rare it only happened once. That's the spirit behind Once. Exclusive, one-time only adventures that will never be repeated. Our next experience, American Muscle Legends, takes you trackside with the most iconic cars in history, complemented by luxury accommodations and behind-the-scenes access you simply can't buy. Spots are limited. When it's gone, it's gone. You can learn more at discoveronce.com/muscle. RM Sotheby's is the world's largest collector car auction house by total sales. They are the preeminent market maker of high-quality collector cars and collections, regardless of size or complexity. By working in partnership with the Sotheby's team and its network of 80 offices in 40 countries, RM Sotheby's has established the largest client network of any collector car auction house in the world. Join the RM Sotheby's family by connecting with one of their car specialists at rmsotheby's.com or contact me directly at gstanley@rmsotheby's.com.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to the Collector Car Podcast. I'm happy to have Stewart Anstead on today. Stewart, how are you today?
Really good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's funny because I've often said this on my podcast. Whenever I have an automobile artist on, I always mention how I'm a failed artist, and I love artists because it's something that I wish I had done. And if you're watching on YouTube, behind right up here, you can see a sketch from another automobile artist, Dave Snyder. That's a cool sketch he gave me. He's local to Cincinnati, and I have his print of that sketch over here. And so anytime I can get my hands on original art, I love it. And you just do some amazing work. We had the chance to meet at the Lake Mirror Classic, right?
That's right, in Lakeland. Correct.
Yeah, and you were working hard. And one thing I loved is that we had the same passion for poker chips. Here we go. So you had these laying out on your table there, which caught my eye. You were working hard, working on a painting, and I saw your incredible poker chips. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta give this guy a poker chip. And so we just started talking, and I thought it'd be great to have you on the podcast. And here you are. So, how's
Great.
everything been for you since?
Oh, really good. Really good. I sure had a great time in Lakeland. People are wonderful. Uh, what was it? 50,000 car enthusiasts came through during that weekend.
I had always heard it was nice, and it was very nice. I was really impressed, and the layout was really cool. Around the lake, you could walk. I walked around the lake like 3 times. It's not that big, and there's cars pretty much all the way around it, right?
Yeah, yeah, all the way around it and then down several blocks. I didn't get a chance to go down all of those streets, but I certainly drove by much of it. And it's just block after block of excellence, just people who care so deeply about their hobby, keeping their cars buffed all the time. I like that aspect of this business is meeting people who care that deeply about the cars that they love.
Yeah, yeah, and I do want to get into your artwork a little bit here because when I saw you, you were working hard on this incredible Shelby poster. And I'd like to know a couple things. First off, I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
read some information about you, so I know you've been doing artwork for a long time, but your website is called The Art of Rugged Things. And I love that because your actual artwork, these paintings, have a rugged feel to them, a realistic feel to them. It's almost like, I don't know, you took paint to a photograph because some of them are so photorealistic, but it just has a really cool power and sense of ruggedness to them. So if you would give us a little update or give us a little bit of background on you as an artist, how you get
Sure.
into the car world, but then also how you became like the official artist of Carroll Shelby.
Well, I appreciate that. I think you are drawn to magnetically to certain things in life. I consider if you go way back, I was the first generation of Hot Wheel car kids. So the stuff that came out that was brand new, that was never introduced into the marketplace before, I had several of those cars. I wore them out, didn't think a bit about saving them and protecting them. They were there to play with. And over the years in my life, I've orbited people who really love cars. My dad used to tear down our Volkswagen bus engine from time to time. It seems like he did that every 5 or 6 months. And when he did it, he would invite me to come help. And I did that one time, and it wasn't fun, and I was very young, and Scooby-Doo was on, and so Scooby-Doo won. And he invited me a time or two after that, but that was it. He kind of quit inviting me. So it was a real missed opportunity, but for a little kid, it, 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 it wasn't compelling to see engine parts all over the place.
Right.
I really liked the aesthetic of the silhouette of a car, the what makes it tick and how the engine sounded, and got intrigued by things that had power. We had a little airport down our road, Ranchero Airport in Chico, California, where I'm from. Little airport, and I would walk there with my buddies. We'd ride our bikes over there, and sometimes we got rides in the airplanes. So I was like, wow, that you just feel the torque. You can feel that the working of the engine and all these things come to play. The stuff that my dad loved about cars started, now it was building an interest. I went to a car show in Reno when I was pretty young. I don't even remember the name of it. It was at one of the massive convention centers in I'm going to say early mid 70s. And it had tent after tent of these amazing cars. Well, I liked the muscle cars because I'd seen them on TV, right? So you had the Batmobile, which was left a huge impression on me.
Oh yeah.
You had Vanishing Point, you had, name it. There was always seemed to be a muscle car in the 70s. And I was intrigued by those, and I really liked that era. Well, let's fast forward 50, 60 years, and those cars, are treasured and they're classics. Back then, a few people would care deeply about them, preserving them, but they were really utilitarian. They were daily drivers. So I got to see them on the road all the time. And I'd go, that's a Camaro. I know what a Camaro is. That, that's a Mustang. And I learned a little bit more about that. And then one interesting twist in high school. So I had a beater car. It was a little Volkswagen Bug. And I'm not a mechanic. I'm not mechanical. But my slow introduction to learning to work on cars crept in then. A friend of mine, his dad, they lived in Southern California. His dad worked for George Barris. They built the Batmobile. They built the Monkey Mobile. They built all was it the Munster car? Adam's
Yeah.
Family Munster. Get those confused.
Yeah.
So anyway, all these things kind of trickle into my world, and now I'm an appreciator. I'm more of a one who loves beautiful things and mechanical things and powerful things. But also, I learned is that, and maybe you're the same way, is that I like tactile things. I like it when people get in with their hands and they get grease on their hands, and it's all over them, and they learn and know how to deal with the inner workings of vehicles. I like the craftsmanship. I think that tends to be why I position myself as the artist of rugged things. Is I like this craftsmanship that requires the use of your hands. A lot of it is an outdoor experience that pulls me in. I like to paint a lot of themes. So I'm not just a car artist. I paint skiing and I paint anything that's power sports. I paint people doing athletics generally. And I've had some really good opportunities to meet uh, athletes of renown from my life in person because I'm commissioned to do work for these people. So it's taken me a lot of awesome places.
Yeah, it's funny because I know Jay Leno once said, you really when you work on your own car, yes, you get dirty, you get greasy, you bust your knuckles, but you know that car better and you become more connected to that car, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
the level of fear is knocked down. The car becomes less intimidating. The more that you work on it, the more you understand the nuances of it
that's
and
right.
how it works, right?
That's right.
And it seems like we're losing that nowadays because nobody can work on their car anymore, And so
My
I,
dad hated that. At the
yeah,
end of his life, he said, "They don't make these cars so you can work on them anymore. I'm just disgusted." So he
yeah,
he
yeah.
kept the older cars, but yeah. So I'm curious. So as you call yourself a failed artist, that was still a tactile experience. I'm assuming that inside you is still something that is yet to be explored, something that you might want to create yourself because of that tactileness, right?
Oh,
Or are you
absolutely.
out of it
No, no,
completely?
absolutely. Yeah, I love doing little drawings. I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, I really enjoy it. Every once in a while, I'll do a little pen and ink drawing. I've done a couple of pen and ink drawings for friends as a thank you for touring some collection.
Nice. That's
And
right.
I tried to get into metalworking a little bit, welding old car parts back together. But my
Awesome.
mistake was I bought like the cheapest welder at the crappiest place. I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, it's made in China, and it's just like my friend's like, no wonder you can't weld. That's the worst thing to ever try to weld, So, that, when I retire, I'm sure I'll be doing some more of that stuff. But along all my books over here that are all car books, I have a pile of art books on the side. So,
Neat.
yeah,
Oh, good for
absolutely.
you.
I
Good.
was going to say one thing I love about your artwork is it is rugged. I'll overlay some pictures here from your website. And, it's cool because it's not only are you capturing the realism of the car and possibly the person, but you're almost putting an overlay of, I don't know how to describe it, a lot of emotion or emotions captured. I'm looking at Ken Miles' Airborne, where, we've always heard about the Flying Mustang, the 65 GT350R, famous Shelby. And we've seen the pictures, but yours is coming right at you, and you've somehow in painting, you've blurred the wheels a little bit to capture them in action and smoke and dust
Yeah,
and dirt
yeah,
flying up. And I love how you've done this. And I also, I've been flipping through and
yeah.
I love the Shelby ones. the Cobra ones. I also love the other Ken Miles one where he's leaning up against the back of it because I don't know why. I'm assuming from the racing team, but you put a huge swath of just thick yellow in the background. And what I love about it is you have it reflecting off the paint of the car as well as the glass of
Hmm.
the car as if it's real. And I'm like, there's not even an horizon line in here. It's all implied. And Ken and the car look totally planted as if they're in a parking lot. So I just absolutely love what you're doing.
Appreciate that. Yeah, the inspiration for that was actually right after I saw um, Ford versus Ferrari. So I was trying to glean what I could from the detail that they gathered to recreate garages, right? To recreate track experiences. And I went, well, what is missing? I typically, when I paint, I try to not rehash what other artists have done a million times. And then what is missing here? And part of it is that Ken Miles he still rises above the pettiness that was described in that movie by the powers that be. And he so by that I think, well, what's that confident moment where he knows that his work combined with all the other mechanics and Carroll Shelby, what is that moment where he can take satisfaction and knowing he built something awesome. And it was just that confident, arms folded, leaning against the back of and then the trademark three I don't know, three section the taillights of the Mustang that endures today, right?
Yeah.
So that's typically what I'll do is I'm going to build something that no one's done before. I'll try to recreate moments that no one's recreated before. um, anyway, that's a description of that. And it's come out on a t-shirt, by the way.
I saw
That
that.
t-shirt does exist.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I don't want to go over each piece here. I'm just pulling out something that really spoke to me. The one with Shelby talking about the CSX 2431, like you're in the shop. He's standing next to number 98. And you've got the shop in the background, as if this is where the car was created. And I love that because you really go from hyper focus, say the nose of the car, the car in general, but then as you go out to, Shelby and who is that with him? Is that Miles?
Yeah, that's Ken Miles in the back.
Yeah, and a little
Yeah,
less detailed, but then as you get back, the background just kind of, gets even less and less detailed the further back, where you almost just have pencil strokes capturing some of the stuff on the walls.
that's
So I
right.
really love the way you focused everything, brought the eyes, to a certain spot on purpose,
Thank you.
obviously.
Yeah, that one's called Battle Tested, and it's them bringing that car into the LAX hangar shop. So it's already been through its paces. So it's had its day, some of its day.
Yeah, now when you do that, are you referencing pictures from back in the day? Are you taking some creative license as far as what you thought it would look like based on what you've read and some of the photos you've seen?
One of the benefits of being an official licensee of Carroll Shelby is that I have access to some archive
Oh,
photos.
nice.
So and yeah, it's not exactly proportional. I tend to try to not paint it like it's a photo that someone has, but I would like it to be recognized as something that has weight in reality, right? So the Cobra is going to be pretty clean, but then let's move outward, and like you said, it becomes more like a pencil sketch. But in this case, it was pulling together photos that they gave me, and then I use photo reference elsewhere, and I put them together in such a way that I'm creating a moment that could have happened. And in this sense, it is more of a tribute piece, where if I tried to do it as an archival piece, everything would be highly detailed and as perfect as I can get it. I'll tell you the truth, though. I like trying to paint perfect, but it becomes more tedious for me, and I tend to be less interested over time. So doing things that are perfect is great for many artists who are way better at it than I am. But I'm trying to create a moment. I'm trying to create a feeling. I'm trying to say this is art that represents something that is it's real or could have been real. When I do commissions, that's my focus. They'll hand me a photograph. A client will hand me a photograph. And this is my grandpa's vintage truck. Well, that's great. You already have a photo. Why don't you
Right.
make that photo bigger, put it in a nice frame? You already have it. You don't, what do you need me for? I think my role is to hear about their legacy, their passion, and how do I encapsulate a feeling that transcends a photo album. It might be kind of like the best of, but you're pulling all these pieces together into something, and you put it on your wall and say, look at this. It was done for me. And this is my life. And here's the car that I restored, and it had funny stories that I had in high school. But it's right there in a painting in someone's home or office or whatever, wherever, garage. But they're going to actually bring people over and say, look at this. This is something I care about. This is my legacy. This is my life. That's way different of a art than many would want to do. I like it a lot. I really like hearing people's stories. They don't get tiresome to me, and people will tell me their stories, like at Lakeland, at Lake Mirror. They're going, "Oh, you don't want to hear about this. Are you kidding me? This is what I live for. This is the stuff I care about." I met a couple. They were so much fun. Came up to me when I was painting, and they were saying, we worked really hard to afford this car, and then we had to fix it up and get it ready for showing. This is our first show. This show at Lakeland's our first show. All day long. That's what I want to hear all day long. See, if I did a painting for them, they would say, here's the story. This is how it went down. And they might even mention that they met me at this place and we talked about it. I could hear those stories all the day.
What was the car? Do you remember?
It was a Mustang, right off the top of my head. I don't remember exactly which one,
Okay.
but
Oh,
yeah,
I bet I know. There's someone there had a 67 and it was their first show, so that might have been it.
maybe
Well,
so.
well, when I was there, I noticed that you had done quite a few posters for Lake Mirror, and also you were working on the 60th anniversary of Shelby, if I'm not mistaken, here
That's
with
right. That's
uh,
right.
the Ken Miles car, the Flying Mustang again in there, right?
Yes,
So how many
yes.
times have you painted that Mustang?
Three times,
Yep.
and there might be a fourth.
Right.
There might be a
Okay.
fourth.
Yeah, and at the time that I took this picture, you had no idea I was standing there behind you. You were listening to your music or podcast or something, and I had to yell at you a few times to get your attention.
Sorry.
No, no, that's okay. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about the materials you use, and then also
Sure.
how you got the connection to be the official artist. Is it for Shelby American?
No, it's Carroll Shelby licensing, different entity.
Okay, yeah,
Same kind of family, but different entity. But so the posters for Lake Mirror were fun. I volunteered to do that. I had never been to a concourse before as an artist. I wanted to be introduced to people. It worked out really well because there were people, representatives from Ford, as you know, that were there, and it was really great to meet the guy who did the GT90. His name is escaping me. Anyway, but so meeting these people were the main objective, and it started out Robert D'Angelo, who owns that show. He and I chatted. JP Emerson recommended that I give him a call, and I gave Robert a call, and I said, look, I want to paint, I want to be there and meet people, and I don't know if you've got a space for me, but I'd love to be able to do that. And he goes, do you do posters? I said, sure, absolutely. I do posters. And he said, let's work on a deal. So it was a real natural fit. I paid my way to come out. I built a poster. And then he said, what do you think about doing a poster for this other car? It's another feature car. I said, dude, I'll do as many posters as you want. What do you have in mind? What will work? And it started with 3 and then it went to 5. So I did 5 posters and it was great. None of them are paintings. They're all They're all computer creations.
Okay.
I had 2 weeks to build them. So,
Now, when you
okay.
do that, will you ever overlay some paint on something like that, or is it all strictly?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Those are hand detailed prints. They are a hybrid,
Okay.
and in a hybrid situation, it is interesting because it does give you, you can do likenesses, you can do a perfect car, right? But when you start painting over the top of it, then you can have personal expression. And one thing I think I've found that some people like is that they'd rather have that and not pay $15,000, not paid, $20,000. They'd rather have something that's a little more accessible, and I can do that for people as well.
Right. No, that's good to know because sometimes, they would love to have something that's somewhat custom of their car, but like you said, the price point because of the labor involved and the artistic expression involved is might be out of their realm of possibilities, you know?
Well, so what I found is so much of my work is done before I'm putting paint to canvas. Uh, I I uh, I I think my strength is research in that I'm trying to build out something that is unique but has reference to things that people might recognize and understand it. Doing the research helps me gather better data that gives me a better outcome. And so if my source is Shelby, if my source is the Library of Congress, if my source is a video, all those things kind of come to build I think a better outcome. And I don't want to pull you away from the direction you wanted me to go with. I paint with acrylics for sure. I've never gotten along with that with oil. I paint with acrylics, but I also paint with other things. Sometimes if it's um, what's the term? Uh, Mixed media.
Okay.
Then
Yep.
I'll use sand. I actually have one of my objectives when I go down to Vegas at the show, or to the Shelby Museum, is making a connection so I can get the shavings of the Shelby cars that they're working on, so I can build those into my paint.
Oh, that's cool.
I work with power tools. A lot of people do that too. I like it. I really like getting in there with a sander. I like doing crackle paint. I like things that are rustic and rusty and broken and edges and that kind of thing. One of the pieces that I did, talking about building a painting from multiple sources, is I did a piece that for Adam Carolla. Adam
Yeah, I
like,
wanted you to bring that up because that sounds like a really cool story. Don't mind
oh
me.
yeah,
I'm trying to get this art book, so keep going.
oh
I'm
sure,
listening.
sure,
I'm just trying
sure,
to get this art book
sure.
over here.
So I don't know Adam. I've met him once. I have a print made, a large print of a painting that he has. Of the 935 Porsche that Paul Newman raced, the famous um, the tropical, is it tropical? I don't have it in front of me, but anyway, the one that was raced at Le Mans, that livery is that bright red, right? It's awesome.
Yeah.
So I did a painting for him that had his Nissan. I don't have the number in front of me. That's the problem with when I do this, is that you know exact numbers and you know which version of it, and I'm learning that, I have to admit. But it was a Nissan, and he just recently sold that car, but he raced it at the Rolex Historics at Laguna Seca, and captured video of it on onboard camera, and then other people filming and whatever. Now, off of a YouTube video, I was able to pull together a video of the source material to do a painting that shows Laguna Seca's corkscrew from a position that isn't often used. It's down at the bottom looking up, but I used artistic license to bend the hill a little bit lower so that you can see the cars behind it. Out of the video, I was able to capture which cars they were that were behind him, and then I built a model in computer that gave me those cars, and then I painted out those cars So there's not a photo like that. It doesn't exist. The artwork brings together a feeling, an experience, a unique moment in time that actually did happen. But then, yeah, take a photo. That's your image. You don't need anything else. Do you want to tell a story? That's when you come to me.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. And I know I saw that, Adam's definitely a fan of your work, and that was really, really cool. Small World, Matt, the moderator, is going to be on my podcast here in a couple of weeks. We've been
Oh,
talking
is
about
that
it for,
right?
yeah, we've been
Awesome.
talking about it for a very long time. And so, just
Cool.
to give you a
He
sense, oh, go ahead.
Oh, he's been Matt has been really awesome. He's been really a quite a encourager, and he's been my link to get stuff to Adam, and I very much appreciate it. I kept following him and his podcast on social media ever since. I don't know, 5 years down the road, something like
Right.
that, five, something like
Yeah.
that. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, he's great.
So this is a book. I can't believe I'm showing this, but I wanted to be a comic book artist. And so this is a book
Oh, cool.
I've had since 1930, 1960. Oh, it was printed in 65, but it's like all the old Superman, DC stuff. And I chicken scratched in there that I guess my parents gave it to me like in 1983. And then this is the artist that would teach me. His name's Brian Stelfreeze. See if I can get this in there. But he was
Oh
quite
yeah.
kind of hard to see.
I recognize the style, that art style. I don't remember that. I don't know that name. Is he also comic book?
Yeah, he did Batman. He did covers for Batman's for like 50 episodes or whatever.
Okay.
And I'm trying to show this is all, but he's very, very talented. And he actually gave me some of his sketchbooks that I still have. And it's kind of cool because you can see the iconic Batman cover in the comic book stores now. And I got the
Yeah.
original sketch on at least like one of those. So,
Awesome.
yeah, very, very cool. Now, how did you get into cars? Were you going down another path? Like you said, you do other stuff,
Well, I'm
skiing and everything?
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I interrupted you. Sorry.
No, no,
Uh,
no. I know
well,
cars might not be the first path as an artist, or was it?
I did a torn paper Duesenberg in fourth grade, and it won the prize of the best of that project for everybody in the class. And I made a note of that I really liked the feeling that people thought of me as being good at something.
Mm.
I've had help along the way, and a high school teacher that said, here's a short story worth telling that we did a first project. It was watercolor. It was horrible. I did a horrible job. Um, and the teacher pulled me aside. He goes, "How do you feel about this painting?" I said, it makes me want to quit." And he said, "Would you be open to me help guiding you a little bit?" And I said, "Absolutely. What can I do?" And he said, "Well, first we're going to scrub it." So we took that same watercolor painting, put it under the faucet, scrubbed it out with a brush.
Wow.
Now it's not white anymore, but it's kind of whatever, bluish. And he just guided me a little bit and said, here's your source material, here are your paints. Let's practice doing the strokes that you think you really wanted to do. And what if you did this? What if you did that? Well, all right. So he didn't do the painting for me. I did it, but it was better than it was before. It won Art Student of the Week. All right, no big deal, Chico High School. But for me, it was a huge deal
Yeah.
because I could have said, I'm not interested. I've tried to develop thick skin after that. I live an hour and a half drive from Bonneville Salt Flats. I live, well, from Park City, I'm about an hour drive the other direction.
Okay.
But those areas are the playground of artists because there's unlimited opportunity to capture something that's amazing. I went first to the Park City side because skiers buy artwork, and so I painted trees and mountains, and then the buildings, and then animals, and then I still do that mostly in Canada. I've got galleries in Canada that carry my work there for the animals and stuff, the wildlife. but I went, I'm going to do vaudeville somehow. And maybe you'll see one of the cars that you see on my website is a vaudeville
Yeah, I
car.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think my memory serves me, it's a 1932, 37 Ford that's been turned into this roadster that's this amazing stainless steel, at the time, stainless steel car. I love it. And I got to know the people who built it, the people who drove it.
Oh, that's awesome.
All those stories came in together to make that painting. You see?
It's funny.
Yeah.
The main reason I brought up my old mentor, Brian Stelfreeze, is something you said, how you would use dirt or dust or whatever in a painting. And that's one thing I remember him saying. He's like, I would use oatmeal if it had the right effect, you know?
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, he was
How
kidding,
about
obviously,
that?
because that would be one that would be harder to use,
Okay,
right?
yeah, well, biodegrade, but who
Right.
knows?
But yeah, but his point was, is whatever it takes to get the image the way you want it, use it, you know? And I
Agreed.
thought that totally makes
Agreed.
sense, you know?
What I learned in art, and I people who will ask me about, hey, I'm interested in art. What should I do? I always suggest maybe the opposite, that art teachers who say pick up a pencil and draw simple things and stuff. I usually say, um, let's start you on gouache. It's the step between watercolor and acrylic, because it has a body to it that lets you paint thickly, but it allows you to do pretty forgiving stuff. And let's learn one technique. Just a wash. Let's learn to do a splash thing. Let's do what do they call it? It's like a marble technique where you're using liquid paints and you're letting them mix together. Just learn a technique, and then when it's done, you can go, I did that.
Right.
It's the same
Right.
concept behind the Suzuki violin playing concept, where you're learning a song right away, and people balk at that. But I think in art, I think it everyone deserves to have a positive experience using some medium. And when it comes to painting, let's just do one thing and then let's build on that, which is kind of what I do. I do one thing, and then I'm now going to do, and that's a technique, and now I'm going to let it dry, and I might put a varnish on it at that point, because now it gives me a certain surface. And then I'm going to come over it, and maybe I'll splash over the top of that, like you see the yellow, in
Right. Yeah.
the flying Mustang, right? So it's another thing over the top, and it's cool upon cool upon cool.
Right.
And I really feel like sometimes I've had nothing to do with it. But in reality, I'm seeing enough of it being done, and this looks like the right way to do that. And I don't like that color, but this, suddenly it becomes my own.
Right.
And after doing this for 25 years, I now feel confident that what I'm doing is my own.
Yeah. 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 That's something else he would say is you might not think you have your own style, but you do. And over time, it probably becomes even more distinctive as you learn what you like and how you like to translate, what you're seeing and putting it down on canvas.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, really interesting. Well, how about the licensing deal? How did that come about? Was that something you pursued? Is it something they saw,
I pursued that
Okay.
because I knew that I was going to get right down to where I needed the car detail, and I needed likenesses. And it's against the law to paint likenesses, if you're going to go into the print world, if you're going to do
Mm,
more. There's some legalities there. And I went, well, what better team would I like to join than Shelby, to be able to get their stamp of approval to do all this. So it was my knowing in communication law. I spent 30 years in advertising, marketing, and stuff. So I went, well, I'm going to paint the thing that I know I can get a license approval. So all of even though I didn't paint them, all of the posters that involved images or likenesses of Shelby products or Shelby himself were all approved by Carroll Shelby Licensing. There's a comfort knowing that you went about it the right way. And especially when it's high profile, who doesn't know Carroll Shelby, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, before I forget, what's the best way for my listeners and viewers to learn more about you? What's your website? What events will
Sure.
you be at in the future?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I take phone calls. I don't mind giving my phone number because I get scam callers anyway. Leave a message and I'll call you back. That's 801-787-0474. I'm in Utah, so it's mountain time. Don't call me after midnight. I work till midnight every night, but don't call me after it. And my website is Ask for an Anstead, askforananstead.com. It's a little corny, but it seems to work. It's a hook that I want people to think about my name when it comes to getting their art. And also I'm on social. It's quite Googleable, you know.
Yeah, and I'll have all this in the description of this podcast so
Okay.
people can find it there. Now, do you have any other events on
Right.
the calendar?
Yeah, I have one that is in the soft stage back in Florida, and I'll post that on my social when
Okay.
that comes around. But that one's going to be pretty exciting.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear. So be sure to stay tuned, and I'll do a update on one of the future episodes once that's public. So,
Terrific. Thank
well, cool,
you.
man. Yeah, it was really great to meet you, and I'm glad to have you on the podcast. And obviously, I love art. I love Shelby, so it all makes total sense. I appreciate you being on the Collector
Oh,
Car
heck yeah.
podcast.
Well, thank you for coming up and introducing yourself. And I wish that we had more time to spend to chat. That would have been fun too. But I'm really appreciative of being included in what you're doing. And I've listened to several shows now, and I was holding my breath that you were going to give me the same test that you gave Adam Carolla at the end of his.
I don't do that. That's the keep cash and crush. I don't do that anymore. I should probably bring that back. Actually, one question for you. Do you have a cool car in your garage?
Nope. I
Okay.
no, I'll tell you what, I have a Nissan Quest van that is bulletproof. And if I could, I'd buy another one when this one dies. I aspire to getting, I would like to have a Mustang. I'd like to have a one from my childhood, the 60s Mustangs. And I think I'd like to have a newer one as well. I'd like to have a couple. I do like the Mustangs. They're blue collar. That's where I came from. That's what I noticed the most. I had a buddy that owned a Mach 1 when I was just almost able to drive, so I never got to drive the Mach 1, but I think about that one as well. So those are aspirations for sure.
Well, I got to show you this picture then. You said Mach 1. So
Yeah.
this is my parents' Mach 1 the day they bought it in 69. Hard to see there, I know.
Yeah, tilt the top down. There we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But you can see the dealer tag in the rear window.
Wow, that's pristine. That's right when they bought it, you said.
Yeah, this is red on red, and they bought it in 69. And I even have a 3-second video for some reason my uncle took of them driving it on a muddy road with cows and a trailer hitch. And they sold it when they had 3 kids, so I blame my
Yeah.
older sister. And
Yeah.
now I'll put a picture on here, but I just got a 65K code convertible.
Oh,
That
wow.
that's a cool car, so you'll see that pop up. And I'm actually, as I wrap this up, I'm headed to a place where there's a unrestored, all original AC Cobra that I'm trying to help them get it in preservation class at Monterey. So I'm going to run by there, take some
Oh, nice.
pictures, and
Nice.
hopefully we'll see that at Monterey
Mhm.
here. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
hope to go there sometime soon as well. I'm not really sure on the connections on that. So if you can pull some strings for me, that would be
we
appreciated.
can make it happen, I'm sure. Well, thanks again, and let's stay in touch. And I
Awesome.
appreciate you being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.